The lecture in fictional history has already become a common attribute of Putin's speeches. The main source of evil in such speeches are always the Anglo-Saxons. It is not known why exactly the ancient Germanic tribes annoyed the tyrant president of Russia. However, as Putin himself claims, he saves the occupied territories of Ukraine from them. Western leaders are surprised and confused by his hilarious speech. According to experts, it is not a political statement, but a list of childish grievances.
At first, this speech seemed to me quite typical of Putin, but this time his obsession with the West was taken to an absolute maximum. It was similar to the speech during the annexation of Crimea, but much was not about Ukraine and its territories. For the most part, there were simply complaints about the West and a whole list of grievances, from sex change operations to colonialism. By demonizing the West, Putin is trying to justify what he is doing.
European and American politicians have responded to Putin's accusations with bewilderment and called the attempt of criminal annexation of Ukrainian territory outrageous. Many high representatives of the political leadership in the EU and the USA stressed that the Kremlin's decision have no effect on the borders of Ukraine, and that now Kyiv will be provided with more weapons to restore sovereignty over all the temporarily occupied territories. And former British Prime Minister Johnson simply laughed at Putin's history lecture.
Vladimir Putin, your speech is a fraud and a disgrace. The world must never accept your sham referendums or your cruel and illegal attempt to colonize Ukraine. We stand with the people of Ukraine and will support them without flinching until their country is whole and free. Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, on Twitter.
According to experts, Putin's obsession with the West and his imaginary fight against it makes Russia a third world country. The Kremlin's policy is becoming dependent and reactionary in relation to other countries, and Putin himself is trying to create for the Russians a picture of a besieged fortress to strengthen his criminal regime.
То, что Путин, он просто показал, что это его.
Putin simply showed that this is his personal conviction as a member of the KGB, who comes from the Soviet times. He hasn't gone anywhere. Everywhere where he looks, he sees conspiracies and treason, some kind of geopolitical intrigues. And in fact, the audience that supports him is on the same way with him. And so they, one might say, merge in such an orgasm. And in fact, they coexist very harmoniously with each other.
Different experts suggest that the constant attempts to prove his importance to the West have made Putin a pyrrhic on the world stage, whose words are no longer taken seriously. Reported by Roman Smoler, Danilo Kobza, UATV News.